This is a quick demonstration to show how the new Voice Memo feature works that is now available on our SwiftOne recorders. The feature is intended to provide a way of adding short voice annotations or voice notes to your recordings. They are stored separately from the main recording, so they are easy to find later. A voice memo can be a maximum of 2 minutes in length, and you can record as many 2-minute voice memos as you'd like. You'll notice a voice memo label on the SwiftOne enclosure, and all of our SwiftOne recorders now ship with a small keychain magnet, which is used to initiate the voice memo. To demonstrate how this feature works, I have 2 recorders you see here. The recorder on the left is programmed with a schedule that will put it into standby mode as soon as it is powered on. Notice that the blue standby LED is now flashing. When this SwiftOne is powered on, it checked the scheduling information that was programmed earlier and compares it to the current date and time provided by the internal clock. It then determined that the recorder should be in standby mode at this time. The recorder on the right is programmed with a different schedule. When it powers on, it goes directly into record mode. It ran through the same initiation sequence and determined from the schedule that it should be recording at this time. The voice memo feature will work in both cases, standby mode or record mode. The voice memo feature will not work if the recorder is in error mode. The voice memo feature will work with the enclosure lid in place. To demonstrate this, I'll set the enclosure lids loosely on top of the enclosures. To record a new voice memo, briefly place the magnet next to the voice memo label or between the record and standby LEDs. I'll start with the recorder on the left that's in standby mode. You'll notice that the record and standby LEDs blink simultaneously to indicate the recorder is now recording a new voice memo. Everything I'm saying now is recorded in a special voice memo recording file. To end a voice memo, you briefly place the magnet over the voice memo label again. The programmed recording schedule picks up where it left off. In this case, the recorder goes back into standby mode. Initiating a voice memo pauses the schedule, and ending a voice memo resumes the schedule again. If we record a voice memo with the recorder on the right, which again is currently in record mode, the recording is temporarily paused while the new voice memo is recorded. If we then end the voice memo, the schedule is resumed and the recorder goes back to recording in the main record folder again. Again, a voice memo can be a maximum of 2 minutes in length. If you do not end the voice memo within the 2-minute window, it will end automatically. I now want to compare the operation of the voice memo feature to that of the internal push button. The internal push button can also be used to start and stop a recording. However, when using the push button, the programmed record schedule is overridden and the schedule will not resume until the recorder is reset. For example, if I push the push button on the recorder on the right, it will end the recording and go into standby mode. Now that the recorder is in standby mode, we could sit here all day and the schedule will never resume again on its own. If I power the recorder off and on again, you'll see that the schedule now resumes and the Swift is back in record mode. This can also be accomplished by ejecting or reinserting the SD card. For example, to demonstrate, if I stop the recording again with the push button, I can eject the SD card. It goes into error mode because no SD card is present. Now if I reinsert it, the schedule is reinitiated and the recorder goes back into record mode. We'll now take a look at the SD cards to see how the voice memo recordings were stored. As always, be sure that the recorders are in standby mode before removing the SD card. This one's already in standby mode, so we can simply eject it. This one's in record mode, so we push the push button once to put the recorder into standby mode. Then it's now safe to eject the SD card. We'll take a look at the SD card from the recorder on the right first. Looking now at the contents of the SD card, we'll notice 2 folders. The first folder is the recording directory containing the scheduled recordings. The second folder is the voice memos folder where all the voice memos are stored. If we open the voice memo folder, we'll notice two voice memo recording files in .wav format. The default file name given to these files is the word memo, followed by a timestamp of when the memo was recorded. If we then back up to the main recording folder and the day folder, we notice two short audio files. The first file was started when the Swift was first powered on and the schedule instructed the recorder to begin recording. The recording was then interrupted by the start of the first voice memo and the file was closed. When the voice memo ended, the scheduled recording picked up again in the second file we see here. I hope this provided a good overview of the voice memo feature. The best way to gain a familiarity with the feature is to run a few test recordings on your own. Please contact us at bioacoustics@cornell.edu if you have further questions.